Shannon.
I'm Brett. I'm Rich.
I'm Amanda.
And I'm Blake. Imagine being abducted at only 5 years old. No matter how fast you run, no matter how loud you scream, no matter how hard you try to hide, they're going to catch you and you're going to be part of a show. And if that isn't scary enough, this show is going to take place in a cage 1/1,000,000th the size of your home before. You would become a slave, essentially. Every wish they had, you have to complete it. You have no choice but to obey or reap the consequences. How does it make you feel? Because this exact feeling is how the orcas feel every single day in Seaworld. After being captured and abducted straight from their families, they are forced to live in an oversized bathtub, essentially. Way too small for an animal of their stature. Studies conducted by PETA have actually linked abuse and Seaworld together, showing that between kidnapping, skin burns, and even drugging the animals. Now, if Seaworld were to replace these animals with dogs, it would be an outrage and it would be shut down immediately. And so not only that, but they make them perform and they abuse them, but somehow it's still okay. It's a sick way of making money, and it's public abuse. The whole speech could be summed up just by saying, it's a tank and not an ocean. According to CNN, Jane Goodall had a large stance against Seaworld, saying that instead of living their normal 30 to 60 year lives, their spans are shortened to 13 years. And they're dying at an extremely fast rate in this environment due to the difficulties that they endure. According to Blackfish, the documentary, the #1 cause of deaths is related to the amount of stress that they endure, because they're living in a tank only 1/10 of a thousandth of a percent of their former homes in the ocean. The stress rate that they undergo is extremely high, more than any human could ever imagine. The higher stress rates are also causing diseases in them, such as pneumonia, and a bladder infection that can cause through the lungs. But this doesn't even scratch the surface of the problems that they're facing. According to the LA Times, a Seaworld in San Antonio forced a young female orca to mate with her uncle twice. This orca was taken from her mother at 3 years old, so the calf that she did end up birthing to did not survive. And these are just a few of the inhumane things that Seaworld has done. Not only has Seaworld put the orcas in danger, but they've put their own trainers in danger as well. Because of this immense stress that they're putting the orcas under, all the anxiety that they face, the orcas sometimes revert back to their primal stages, their primal instincts, and they get very aggressive with their trainers. And in one case, in February of 2010, a killer whale attacked and killed its trainer, along with another trainer. And a journalist for the Times newspaper described the attack as violent and bloody, which cannot be appealing to any audience, especially for the age range that Seaworld appeals to, with younger children. According to Ezekiel Minaya of the Wall Street Journal, she was quoted saying, "No matter how much you train these creatures, they will always be wild animals at heart. We don't speak orca, and they don't speak human. There will always be a lot of pressure on them performing." So not only are these animals dying because of the stress, but they're also revolting and injuring their own trainers, which is terrifying. In Seaworld's defense, however, there is the cause that an entire community would be affected if a Seaworld were shut down in that community. The Seaworld attracts so many tourists, and it brings in such a large amount of revenue to the adjacent area, small businesses, big businesses, anything. It would just completely crush the economy of wherever the place was. Not only that, but the incidents that have been described with the trainers dying, being attacked, only occurs in approximately less than 1% of the shows they put on. Most of those shows go on completely fine. And no one gets hurt. Everyone goes home happy. Except for the orcas, of course. So, in conclusion, Seaworld has been around for 59 years, and that's 59 years too long. And through all of this animal abuse, incidents with their trainers, and the controversial events, people still don't think that it deserves to be shut down? I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to see everything that's wrong that's going on in Seaworld. Abusing animals, forcing them to perform. Seaworld, or as I call it, Pool World, deserves to be shut down once and for all. Thank you.